Oh, Rashid, why don't people like you? Why is Rashid disliked among many people? Is it his cheesy, cheap gameplay? Could it be his attitude or persona? Or maybe it's just his design? Why do people not like Rashid? Personally, I always thought Rashid was cool. He's able to harness the power of wind and use his fancy tech to enhance his fighting skills. It is unclear if it's the jetpack that he wears that gives him the ability to harness the wind, but I don't think it does, because when he fought Fong in A Shadow Falls, we could see him powering up with wind appearing to be radiating from him, not the jetpack. He is also a very heroic person too. He often puts his well-being on the line for others. For example, he infiltrated a very dangerous Shadowloo base in an attempt to save an ungrateful friend. He put himself in danger to rescue a Leaf Fen who was in distress. He saved Nash from a violent Urian who was about to punch him while he was down. Rashid has shown that he will not hesitate to do the right thing, even if it might put his well-being at risk. Although he is a fighter, he's shown not to be fond of conflict. He does not fight unless it's absolutely necessary. In A Shadow Falls, before his fight with Chun-Li, he briefly states he needs the piece she's holding no matter what, and he hopes she doesn't hate him for what's about to happen to her.
I must have it no matter what. I hope you won't hate me for this!
And before his fight with Karen, he says he doesn't like the idea of fighting for the piece, trying his hardest to avoid the conflict, but Karen was having none of it. Even in his in-game gameplay, when he performs a grab, he says, quote, "I'm sorry, friend," end quote. It's clear to see Rashid certainly does not fight to inflict harm on others. This topic is expanded upon in his character's story mode when he fights Ryu, and their fight seems to be pretty much even Stevens, though it's clear to see Rashid is way more nonchalant, giving Ryu compliments mid-fight, while Ryu on the other hand is way more serious about the battle, focused only on victory. He eventually catches Rashid with a Shoryuken, defeating the young fighter. Rashid learns a lot from this fight, but his main takeaway from it all is that the main difference between the two was the passion. Rashid's passion for fighting was nowhere near as strong as that of Ryu. This I feel directly coincides with his dislike of conflict. Rashid to me fights for sport and fun, not to be the best in the world. That's just my take on it personally. So I think Rashid is a very selfless, humble, heroic, and powerful fighter. All noble traits. So how could such a noble man be disliked? It just doesn't make any sense. Why is Rashid so underappreciated? I've read a couple Reddit forums of people talking about this topic, and I've compiled a list of common complaints people have about the character. Reason 1, it's Rashid's design. Rashid's design isn't the most out there. It's very plain Jane, if you catch my drift. A white and gray attire doesn't pop out as much as a Chun-Li or a Gil pops out. His Street Fighter 6 design looks 1,000 times better than his 1 in 5. I'm sure we can all agree on that, so maybe people have a change of heart when they see Rashid in 6. Let's just hope that's the case. Another reason is his personality. It can come off as annoying and cringe at times. Now this is subjective. I know I like Rashid, but I can totally understand how people can get annoyed by him. He tends to do a lot of goofy dances and wants to be the center of attention. I mean, what is he doing here? You're not jury. Stop fucking doing that. And he ruins a lot of serious situations with his silly demeanor. At the end of the day, this comes down to you. Personally, I don't think he's too annoying. I was annoyed at times, especially when he intervened with the Charlie Nash Guile reunion. But I feel it's just his charm. In a way, for me, it works. I think Ibuki and Mika are way more annoying than Rashid, but that's just me. Lastly, I see a lot of people mention his gameplay, and to be more specific, people think it's for scrubs. Now I can agree Rashid can be very annoying to play against. Back when I was a Street Fighter 5 noob, Rashid would terrorize the fuck out of me. He was super good at corner trapping, and his sneaky cross-ups and overall mix-up game was like my kryptonite. Many people share this opinion, maybe to a higher extent than I do, but as for people saying his character is for scrubs, I don't know if I can agree with that. He is a very high-tier character, so I believe it's easy to be good with Rashid, but it's hard to be great with him. You could cheese with Rashid very well, but when it comes to being at platinum rank or higher, I feel the cheese will eventually stop working. But hey, I've never played Rashid, so what do I know? I need to fuck off. To conclude, I really like Rashid. When he comes on in 6, I'm going to do my very best to main him. I don't want to main Zangief. The only reason I use him is because I'm pretty good with grapplers. That's the only reason why. And Rashid is by no means the most hated fighter. It might sound like this from the video, but it really isn't. It's like half and half, I'd say. But there's a big amount that really don't like him, which really shocked me. What are your guys' thoughts on Rashid? And yeah, that's about it. It's been the Master Assailant, and I hope to catch you all in the next one. Goodbye.